beer industry here in Canada. Certainly changed an awful lot since the days of old Bob and Doug McKenzie back in the 1980s. From the big three brewers back then, Molson, Labatt's, and Carling O'Keefe, there are now more than 100 different breweries in Canada. Most are small, independent craft brewers, all vying to stand out, but constrained by interprovincial trade laws that don't allow beer to cross borders. So, what do you do when you're one of those big players in such a fragmenting market? Here to tell us is Fred Landtmeters, President and CEO of Molson Coors Canada. Nice to see you, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Nice to see you,
So
Peter.
where I want to start, of course, is with the Supreme Court ruling on interprovincial beer sales. A lot of people had really hoped that that was going to be a landmark moment that would open up Canada's not just beer and wine industry, but a whole bunch of other industries as well. That door slammed shut instead. How disappointing was that for the beer industry?
I would say, Peter, it was probably somehow a surprise to us in the sense that, I mean, you've covered the topic last week. You've got all the legal aspects of it covered. So I would like to look at it from a consumer's perspective.
Right.
It's obviously disappointing to see that our average consumer cannot freely take beer from one province to another because there are these provincial rules and policies that prevent him or her to do that. So that's why somehow disappointing, definitely somehow a surprise. Basically also, I think, a call to action for us in the beer industry, for us at Molson, to continue working with the provinces to try and address that, because it's clearly to be addressed at provincial level.
Right.
The rules and policies that are in place have basically been in place since the 1860s, since pre-prohibition time. Probably my perspective would be that it's about time to modernize that set of rules and policies a little bit.
But do you get the sense that there's any provincial government in the country that's actually interested in having that conversation? The government, I can't spit out any words today, the government of New Brunswick led this charge. The government of Ontario supported that, saying that this would just completely upend democracy and interprovincial trade as we know it. They used really strong language saying this would be an utter disaster. And they come on shows like this and say they're protecting you. They say they're protecting our beer industries and wine industries that need this kind of protection. I haven't met anybody in the beer wine industry that seems to think that's the case, but the politicians, and it doesn't matter which party, it's, this seems to be a thing that exists at every level, in every party, in every government.
Yeah. So the short answer to your question, I think, Peter, is yes. I think some provincial authorities are open to that discussion. The rules, as I said, have been in place for many, many years. So I don't think we should expect that to change overnight. There are provinces that have indicated a willingness to review the policies, the rules already. And again, it's going to be a long run. It's going to be an exercise that will take time. And I think the whole objective should be to try and find a way where it works for the provinces, right, it works for our consumers, it works for the industry. So I think that's probably the answer we need to find collectively.
The change that's happened in your industry has been amazing to watch. The craft beers that are coming online, consumers are very happy with it. How do you deal with that from a strategy perspective?
So if you look at a beer shelf today, it is true. I mean, compared to 20, 30 years ago, there's more craft, there's more flavor, there's more non-alcoholic, low-alcohol right, offerings, to name just a few. How do we deal with that? Basically, consumer tastes have always evolved, will continue to evolve. Our job there is to play to those evolutions and to keep looking for trends and to respond with new products in our portfolio. The times where there was only just one beer choice or a couple of beer choices, you referred to the three original brewers.
Right.
Those times are long gone. We think choice is a good thing. I think you referred to 100 breweries. I think there's actually about 700 and counting, if I'm not mistaken. So that's really where I think the consumer is the one who benefits, basically.
Listen, I could talk about this all day, but Ralph Goodale took up all the time, so I'm going to have to call it short there. Thank you very much for coming in, though. It's really great to get your perspective. Fred Landtmeters is President and CEO of Molson Coors Canada.